Pleasant Hill, California. Pleasant Hill is a city in Contra Costa County, California, United States, in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. The population was 33,152 at the 2010 census. It was incorporated in 1961. Pleasant Hill is the home of College Park High School, Diablo Valley College, John F. Kennedy University, the Pleasant Hill Library and Administration offices for the Contra Costa County Library System, and the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District. Geography. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 7.1 square miles, 18 square kilometers. Pleasant Hill has a varied landscape with some valleys and rolling hills. In undisturbed wilderness, oak woodlands and mixed woods can be found. It is located in the central East San Francisco Bay. Climate. This region has warm and dry summers, with no average monthly temperatures above 71 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius. According to the Köppen climate classification system, Pleasant Hill has a warm summer Mediterranean climate, abbreviated CSB on climate maps. Winter daytime temperatures tend to be in the 50s and 60s, and summers range in the high 70s to upper 80s, occasionally reaching the low 90s. On very rare occasions, the temperatures can reach the 100-degree range during extreme heat waves. Freezing in winter is rare, but it does happen. Summer fog is occasional, but winter fog is very common. History and architecture. The area began to be developed in the 1920s, as former agricultural land was subdivided for housing. Monument Boulevard was named after the Soldiers' Memorial Monument to commemorate soldiers of World War I. It was erected on December 11, 1927. The monument depicts 1 black and 3 white soldiers. It is 45 feet, 14 meters, tall, constructed of formed concrete, and weighs 150 tons. In 1954 the monument was moved to its current site at Boyd Road and Contra Costa Boulevard to make way for upcoming highway construction. Developed largely in the years following World War II, the area did not have a post office until 1948. The city incorporated in 1961. On February 21, 1967, Century 21 Theaters opened an 895-seat dome theater between Monument Boulevard and Hookston Road. I-680 was later constructed passing west of here. Visible from the freeway after it was constructed, the futuristic dome-topped cinema became an iconic landmark for the newly incorporated city. The theater was designed by prolific Bay Area architect Vincent G. Rainey. It had a distinctive 50-foot-high domed ceiling and oversized curved screen. The theater was initially built to showcase the Cinerama widescreen process developed in the 1950s. The screen was later updated to standard flat screen. In 1973, 4 additional single-screen auditoriums were added to the front of the building. Renamed as Century 5 Theaters, it continued to be known familiarly as the Dome. The City Hall of Pleasant Hill, completed in the late 20th century, has won several awards for architectural design. For most of its history, Pleasant Hill did not have a true downtown or main street. In 1991, the city began planning the redevelopment of the area around the intersection of Monument and Contra Costa Boulevards. In July 2000, downtown Pleasant Hill finally opened. The privately owned and operated outdoor shopping center was designed to resemble a typical small main street. Starting in 2003, CineArts operated the former Century 5 theaters, screening primarily independent and foreign films. Due to changes in viewing habits, as many people screened movies at home, business continued to decline. The theater's property owner, SY West Development, closed the Dome on April 21, 2013. On its last night of operation, CineArts screened Stanley Kubrick's classic 2001, A Space Odyssey. SY West gained the approval of the Pleasant Hill City Council for its proposal to tear down the theater and redevelop the property as a 2-story, 73,000 plus square foot building to house a Dick's Sporting Goods. Supporters of the theater submitted 2 separate appeals to overturn the approval of demolition, one by a resident of Pleasant Hill, and one by Save the Pleasant Hill Dome, SPHD, organization. Both appeals were voted down by a majority of the City Council. Mayor Michael G. Harris and Council member Ken Carlson voted in favor of the appeal. SY West had the dome demolished on May 8, 2013, precluding any further court action. Economy. Top employers. According to the city's 2013 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, CAFR, as of 2009 the city's principal employers were: education, primary and secondary schools, public schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, private schools, colleges and universities, public libraries. The Pleasant Hill Library of the Contra Costa County Library is located in Pleasant Hill. The library system has its headquarters in Pleasant Hill. Parks and Recreation. Parks in Pleasant Hill are maintained and managed by the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District. The district is a separate entity from the city of Pleasant Hill. Demographics. 2010. The 2010 United States Census reported that Pleasant Hill had a population of 33,152. The population density was 4,688.1 people per square mile, 1,810.1/km superscript 2. The racial makeup of Pleasant Hill was 24,846, 74.9%. White, 686, 2.1%. African American, 127, 0.4%. Native American, 4,516, 13.6%. Asian, 66, 0.2%. Pacific Islander, 1,079, 3.3%, from other races, and 1,832, 5.5%, from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 4,009 persons, 12.1%. The census reported that 32,689 people, 98.6% of the population, lived in households, 151, 0.5%, lived in non-institutionalized group quarters, and 312, 0.9%, were institutionalized. There were 13,708 households, out of which 3,892, 28.4%, had children under the age of 18 living in them, 6,329, 46.2%, were opposite-sex married couples living together, 1,359, 9.9%, had a female householder with no husband present, 597, 4.4%, had a male householder with no wife present. There were 789, 5.8%, unmarried opposite-sex partnerships, and 152, 1.1%, same-sex married couples or partnerships. 3,929 households, 28.7%, were made up of individuals, and 1,431, 10.4%, had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.38. There were 8,285 families, 60.4% of all households. The average family size was 2.96. The population was spread out with 6,563 people, 19.8%, under the age of 18, 3,180 people, 9.6%, aged 18 to 24, 8,901 people, 26.8%, aged 25 to 44, 9,902 people, 29.9%, aged 45 to 64, and 4,606 people, 13.9%, who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 40.7 years. For every 100 females, there were 94.1 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 91.0 males. There were 14,321 housing units at an average density of 2,025.2 per square mile, 781.9/km superscript 2, of which 13,708 were occupied, of which 8,470, 61.8%, were owner-occupied, and 5,238, 38.2%, were occupied by renters. The homeowner vacancy rate was 1.3%, the rental vacancy rate was 5.1%. 21,253 people, 64.1% of the population, lived in owner-occupied housing units and 11,436 people, 34.5%, lived in rental housing units. 2000. As of the census of 2000, there were 32,837 people, 13,753 households, and 8,403 families residing in the city. The population density was 4,633.6 inhabitants per square mile, 1,788.2/km superscript 2. There were 14,034 housing units at an average density of 1,980.3 per square mile, 764.3/km superscript 2. The racial makeup of the city was 81.77% white, 1.53% black or African American, 0.47% Native American, 9.43% Asian, 0.27% Pacific Islander, 2.32% from other races, and 4.19% from two or more races. 8.43% of the population were Hispanic or Latino of any race. There were 13,753 households, out of which 28.0% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 48.4% were married couples living together, 9.1% had a female householder with no husband present, and 38.9% were non-families. 29.1% of all households were made up of individuals and 9.5% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.35 and the average family size was 2.95. In the city, the population was spread out with 21.3% under the age of 18, 7.2% from 18 to 24, 32.4% from 25 to 44, 25.8% from 45 to 64, and 13.2% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 39 years. For every 100 females, there were 94.2 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 90.8 males. According to a 2007 estimate, the median income for a household in the city was $80,737, and the median income for a family was $104,297. Males had a median income of $57,278 versus $42,013 for females. The per capita income for the city was $33,076. About 2.7% of families and 5.0% of the population were below the poverty line, including 3.2% of those under age 18 and 4.8% of those age 65 or over. Politics. Planning and environmental factors. The Gregory Gardens subdivision developed in 1950 required purchasers of new homes to accept a covenant that restricted ownership to Caucasians. Such provisions have since been ruled as unconstitutional. The covenant also limited the structures that could be built, animals allowed on premises, and commercial activities. Pleasant Hill used a system of environmental planning at a relatively early stage of its modern growth. Notably, the city authorized a study in the 1980s of hillside development, which included detailed mapping of biota, geotechnical hazards, sound levels and other environmental constraints. These studies were used to establish appropriate zoning and development densities for all the principal undeveloped hillside areas within the city. Media. The city of Pleasant Hill is served by the East Bay Times daily newspaper, published by Bay Area News Group East Bay, part of the Media News Group of Denver, Colorado. It is also served by the Community Focus newspaper. Community Focus is an independent, monthly newspaper that concentrates on local events and information. The city is also served by Pleasant Hill Patch, a local news website covering community news and events. Patch Media is owned by AOL Incorporated. Claycord.com is an independent, privately owned blog covering the greater Pleasant Hill metropolitan area. Sister cities. Pleasant Hill, California has 2 sister cities, as designated by Sister Cities International. Notable people.